Hello everyone, today we have the release of Wiccan into Marvel Snap, and Wiccan is a very interesting card, because historically in the game, a card that generates additional energy is always a great value over time. Once it finds its home, usually it is a just absolute unit or force to be reckoned with. Right now, I'm not so sure about where Wiccan belongs. I tried him in a couple of different shells, actually a lot of different shells. I tried him in a bounce shell, in a collector style shell, in a high evolutionary shell, in a couple of combo heavy shells, and I eventually settled on this one. This one gives you a mixture of what I liked about the high evolutionary build, and that is the sunspot, being able to scale exponentially. Some of those games, your sunspot is going to be a massive force. Other ones, he's going to just be that threat of, I have to respect this lane, I can't completely cap it out, because you could still absorb and get extra power onto your sunspot. Otherwise, this is a very heavy rock'em, sock'em hawk deck. We are looking to do Korg, Rock Slide. The one piece that I'm not certain about is Odin. Odin, in my testing, sometimes felt great. If I was able to get Wiccan down on 3, Odin onto 4 gave me an additional 2 energy on those remaining turns and was just fantastic. Is that going to be great every game? No, not really. His primary targets in this deck are going to be your Rockslide, your Korg, your Cassandra Nova, or your Wiccan to get additional energy, and you could honestly sub him out for something else. Maybe you go with a high power 6 cost so that you can slam the board early, or if you get the extra energy, you can slam him down on 5 or maybe even 4 into developing the rest of the board on the rest of the game. But for me, I'm going to keep Odin for now because I do like the idea of just sending them a plethora of rocks. But to fill up the rest of the deck, we have 4 1-cost cards to make sure that we almost always have a 1-cost to use on our first turn. We have Hood, which can generate another 1-cost card. Fantastic value if you're trying to use all of your energy every single turn. We have Sunspot, we have Korg, and then Nico. Sometimes Nico is going to end up being a destroy our next card to give us a better chance of drawing into Wiccan. Other times, we're going to be looking to set up a Nico into copy a card into Rockslide or Cassandra Nova to give us a kind of flexible way to navigate that in-game. We have the Black Widow. Honestly, you could sub this out for another 3-cost card, but I like the idea of sending them that kind of junk, and then we could potentially later on turn 5 hit it again with an Odin, and they wouldn't be able to draw for 2 of their 6 turns, which can be so disruptive for the opponent. I held just around a 60% win rate over a very small sample size, and so that's why I say I'm not sure that this is where he belongs. Wiccan overall feels just okay, but I think that's because we haven't found his proper home. I'm going to continue brewing, but this is a decent kind of starter set so that you can jump in, you can get some cool uses out of Wiccan, and then maybe that gets your brewing brain pumping. You can make some subs, you can make some changes, or maybe it sparks an entirely different idea altogether. But with that being said, we are going to go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. Thank you guys as always for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. So sticks it out with us here. The last time we did this, it did not pay off. We'll see. So the Quicksilver to try to make sure that they get their Wiccan down. Or use the energy going into Wiccan. I didn't find that it was, I didn't find that it felt good enough, honestly. Let's go Sunspot. I'm gonna hide the Demon in mid. Next turn will be Black Widow. No, next turn will end up being Rock Slide, and then we'll do Wiccan, and then Black Widow on 5 plus whatever else we need to. The slight clutter over here is a little unfortunate. Maybe not the end of the world either. Magneto could be pretty interesting. Let's go Rock Slide first and foremost. They go Jeff. They hide a card in mid. We will be able to go Wiccan over into the left lane on turn number 4. And so then maybe we get Korg. So maybe it ends up being Korg plus Odin, but into the Wiccan lane so that we have just a gazillion energy going into the final turn of the game. They did get Copycat, so maybe they stole our Hawk. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, there's the Korg. Speaking of great timing, we have the Korg, the Odin. So we're going to have another extra 4 on the final turn for our Sunspot to be able to work with. We could also go something a little bit less greedy. We could go Korg. We could go Black Widow. and Cassandra. Cassandra ends up being 8 power, 9, 10, 11. So we need 4 more at least here. I'm going to go Cassandra into mid. I'm going to hide it. War Machine is an interesting one. The Black Widow, they're not going to be able to draw going into the final turn. So if they were needing any kind of outs, unfortunately, they are not going to be able to find them. All right, I'm going to go Hawk into the right. I know that I thought I was abandoning it. Turns out we're not. We're not abandoning it. We're going to go Hawk over to the right. Our Cassandra Nova is going to end up being an 8 power resource. We have the Demon hidden in mid. And so they're going to have to compete for every single lane. We have, I think we have far outpowered what they have so far. Plus we have crazy extra energy to be able to utilize. And we do end up forcing the retreat from Black Widow. We'll take the 2. Let's jump over into the next. All right, next up we have Fanta. I say this every time, but yes, we want to. My goodness, we have the 1, 2, 3. Strikes you out of the old ball game. I'm going to go ahead and snap into it on turn 1, which feels a bit hasty. I hope they don't retreat because this line is so rare. All right, next up we have Dababu. The first location is the Dark Dimension. We do have Korg into Psylocke, so maybe a Wiccan on 3 would be pretty wicked. If not, then we probably won't be able to play it later on, but we'll see. We will, of course, absolutely see. The Human Torch comes down, so it could be a Phoenix Force deck, which is not great for us. So we can do Psylocke mid. I don't actually need the extra energy from it again, but we can go Wiccan into the right lane into an Odin plus Sunspot, an Odin plus Nico, an Odin plus Hood to get even further energy deposits. And then plus the Sunspot is fantastic here. Let's go ahead and want to snap into it, but I always lose to Dababu. And so he's always cooking something kind of off meta. And so it's really hard to anticipate what this man is going to be doing. Sandra Nova comes into play. I would want to play Sunspot in the left, but I'm just not sold that it would survive. Actually, it doesn't matter, right? We can do Odin. We don't have the extra energy because it's only turn it's only turn 4, and we're dropping our Odin line. And so going into 5 and 6, we're going to have plus 4 energy both times. They do go with the Acid Arrow. Unfortunate. Unfun of you, Dababu. But hold on, hold up, wait a minute. We send the Acid Arrow right back their way. They pick up the Human Torch and maybe whatever else was mid, like the Nico, maybe? Yeah, Nico into the Beast got destroyed. But with Odin, we're going to send the Acid Arrow back their way. No such luck, my friend. We are now sitting very, very healthy with our plus 4 energy going to the last few turns. Sunspot can get massive. Absolutely massive. Let's go Sunspot, Cassandra Nova. We could do Hood, but I don't have a way to get rid of it, so we're just going to hold it. We're going to let Sunspot absorb here. Cassandra Nova, I'm going to hide into the left lane because it will be at least 5-ish energy. So that may be kind of tough to deal with going into the final turn. So they have Wiccan as well coming down on 5. And so they will have 2 extra energy themselves. The Human Torch comes into play. They have a card hidden over here with a fancy border. I wish I played them more often. We'd be able to know what this one was, but we don't. Drawing a Hawk here would be great. So we could go Hawk plus Absorb. That's what I think we're going to go with. We're going to go Hawk. We're going to let Sunspot absorb 5 energy into mid. Hold on. Is that good enough? Because this gets plus 3. They go up to 13. Plus 5 only brings it up to 12. We'd have to do better than that. This is only 4 in the left lane. I'm not super sold on it. Maybe they have a Heimdall. I'm not sure what the Human Torch or where the Human Torch comes into play. Maybe this is a grapple arrow. No, it wouldn't pull them. Maybe it's a Ghost Spider. I don't know. We'll see. I am going to double stack into mid because the +5 wouldn't be enough. And so since we are doing that, I'm going to take 2 of the power that would have went into the Sunspot. I'm going to play it over to the left with our Zabu. See if we can make magic happen. The single card in mid, the single card in right. Let's see if it is enough. The dagger, the Heimdall shift. Wow. The dagger doesn't move, thankfully. Otherwise, we were toast. To the Nico. My goodness. Had the dagger moved, we were toast. Had we not had the Odin that sent the acid arrow, we would have been toast. My goodness, if I've ever seen a need for the sweat brow emoji, that one is it. We'll take the 4. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Dr. Penguins. The first location ends up being Hell's Kitchen, so we draw into our hood. Better chance to draw into Wiccan by turn number 4. Let's go with the Korg this turn. I want to add as many rocks into their deck, even though they're running Arsham. I want to run as many rocks into their deck as we can, and then we will adjust from there. And so they're running the Arsham. We have to look out for all of the normal Arsham shenanigans. Cloning Vats over to the right could be interesting. Let's go ahead and go Psylocke. Next turn might be something like Rock Slide Hood or Wiccan on turn number 3 could be wicked good. We'll see if that ends up being a possibility. We could copy the Wiccan into using him again on 5. Could be wicked good. We'll see if the double Wiccan is a possibility. The Kiln. Ooh. The Kiln is a bit unfortunate. We could always go Nico into Rock Slide. We get a copy of the Rock Slide. We destroy this one. And so then we're going to be able to draw 2 additional cards to get a better chance to draw into Wiccan going into turn number 4. But with Kiln being in place, we might forego it and just opt to maybe use our energy until 5, be able to curve into our Hawk a little bit better. There's Wiccan. There's Cassandra Nova. There is our Rock Slide, plus the Sunspot. So we could always do something diabolical, like Sunspot, Cassandra Nova.
Oh, snap.
Next turn, we can always do Hood plus Wiccan, or we could do a Hawk into the Cloning Vats and not even need the extra energy. We'll see. We'll see which direction it ends up looking like we need to go. But we can potentially stage the Hawk into the Cloning Vats, which is going to be the massive, 39 power Hawk over there, which is craziness. The Cassandra Nova coming down into mid is going to be 20 power, a legitimate Infinite, which is not going to be good for Dr. Penguins. We will take the 1. Let's jump over into the next. All right, next up we have rank 22 Callus. We do have our Sunspot, we have Zabu, and then we have the Black Widow follow-up. So I am going to go ahead and do Sunspot over to the left this turn, see what we can make happen. The Kitty Pride comes into play, so they do have their Pride intact. TVA is unfortunately very unfortunate for us. Let's go Zabu, and then we'll see what that third location is. Maybe we can get a little bit of benefit. Maybe. We have Zabu. If we can do Wiccan on 3, it would be a godsend. So they lose their Juggernaut. We lose our Black Widow, and we draw into Nico. So definitely not what we were looking for. Let's go Cassandra Nova over to the right, and they go Cassandra Nova to the right as well. So it is a tie in that lane thus far. Nico with the Demon Spell is not bad. We can go Nico to get a little edge here. We can go Hood into mid to get a little bit of edge here, and then we can absorb in the left lane. Not a bad follow-up. That gives us a decent amount in all 3 lanes. Captain Marvel comes in, which is marvelous for them, but it's not going to be marvelous enough, my friend. we have the lead left, right. If she leaves mid, then they lose mid. And so she is going to be stuck in this location. Maybe she moves to the right so they win at least one lane. Or the left so they win one lane. We will grab the other two. Not the Wiccan that we were looking for, but maybe an offshoot of building so that your deck can run a 1, 2, 3, 4 drop. Maybe it's an offshoot of like these early TVA games and having a slight advantage there.